The Isle of Man, nestled in the middle of the Irish Sea, halfway between England and Ireland, this mysterious place is shrouded in folklore and stories of the supernatural. I'm visiting this beautiful island to see if I can investigate some of these locations, with a main focus being on ghosts, as well as giving you some stories from around this beautiful place. In the first of a 3-part series, I visit an aircraft museum located beside the island's main airport that has a story of a restless spirit. The Isle of Man is a crown dependency within the British Isles, meaning, like Jersey and Guernsey in the Channel Islands, it is self-ruled. It has the world's longest running parliament, based here, at Tynwald, which is over 1,000 years old. It also has its own flag, and language as well, called Manx, which although almost died out, it is still spoken by a few islanders today. This is Ronaldsway, the main airport on the island. It was first used as an airfield in 1928 and soon provided passenger services to other parts of the UK within 5 years. Being such a small airfield at the time, alterations needed to be carried out as aviation became more commercial. In 1936, one of the airfield's runways was expanded, and in doing so, workers discovered a mass grave containing hundreds of human remains buried in a disorderly manner. These are believed to be from the Battle of Ronaldsway in 1275, a fierce conflict between the Manx uprising and a Scottish army, resulting in the deaths of the last Norse king of man. The battle took place on the site of the airfield, just a stone's throw to the north of the island's then capital, Castletown. Right behind the airfield is Hango Hill, once a location for public executions. We will return to this later in the series. Ronaldsway was taken over by the RAF during World War II, but was one of the few airports that continued to serve civilian flights throughout the war. It was another expansion of the runways during the war that led to a Neolithic settlement being discovered here too. The airport returned back to normal after the war and was upgraded, and even had its own airlines that flew from here. The Manx Aviation Museum is run by volunteers next to the airport. Open at weekends, it features wartime exhibits and even aircraft outside. It's the smallest of all the aviation museums that I've been to. It's not the first aircraft museum I've done. Check out my video from the North East Aircraft Museum later on in Sunderland if you want to see a much larger aircraft museum with a ghost story or two. The museum is built using old Nissan huts and wartime buildings. I met with Ivor, who runs the museum and is an expert on the island's aviation history. But Ivan, despite originally being sceptical, has a strange story.
But many years ago, we were given a hand-coloured portrait, full-length portrait of a First World War soldier. The information about the soldier had been lost in the mists of time, really. It had been hung on the wall in a British Legion club for donkey's years, probably since about the 1930s. The club closed and all their stuff was given to us. And they said to us, we don't know who it is, no idea. Anyway, I did a bit of research, and I was helped by the fact that this picture had a name, a Manx surname, very distinctive Manx surname written on the back. And the uniform that the guy was wearing was of a particular unit which was associated with the Isle of Man. So I did a bit of research, and I came to the conclusion that it was a particular individual who hadn't actually been killed in the First World War, and that was why somebody went to the trouble of making a memorial portrait of him. So I did a little information sheet about him, put it on the front of the glass of this picture, attached it just with blue tack, very simply, And the ladle kept falling off. Now, none of the other ladles in the museum ever move. So I was getting a bit annoyed by this. I kept re-sticking it and thinking, is it damp? What's happening? Eventually, I did it with double-sided sticky pads, which seemed to hold it a little bit better. But the find that eventually it would still fall off. And it got me to the stage where I was actually talking to the guy in the picture saying, what are you playing at, mate? You know, come on, tell me what's the matter. You're obviously trying to tell me something. But he didn't do any more. And I ended up with a loop of wire over the top of the top of the picture, holding this label on, and it stayed there eventually for about 8 months without falling off. And I thought, yeah, beat me this time. And then we had a group of paranormal investigators around the museum one evening, and I'd got to the stage where every time I opened up or closed the museum, I would look at this picture to make sure the sign was there. At the start of the evening, the sign was in position. By the end of the evening, it was on the floor. And this is after it hadn't moved for 8 months, so I thought, God, these guys have actually stirred something up and caused this to happen. So I went home, and the following morning I went through all my database of First World War casualties from the islands, about 600 photographs of 1,300 guys who were killed. And I went through alphabetically all the way through. I got to the T's, and the exact same portrait is in there, and he was a guy called William Evan Taylor. I'd given him completely the wrong identity. So very, very quickly I reprinted all this biography, put it on display, deliberately attached it very, very delicately, and from that day to this it has never moved. And that has absolutely convinced me that there is something beyond, if you like. Fascinating. It's the only time I've ever encountered anything like that, but I'm convinced. I just want to hope that I can do the same and annoy other people when I've gone.
Are we dealing with a spirit that has wanted to correct a mistake? As night fell and the museum was closed, I was given full access to these old wartime buildings to see if I could get some answers. Before we start, give the channel a like and a subscribe. My journey around this amazing island will take me to one of the most incredible places I have ever been. And I go to a place that was once forbidden to go to on Halloween. Well, this is interesting. I am in the Manx Aviation Museum. I am starting off in the exhibit room where the said picture that Ivor was talking about earlier on is located. So we are going to try and see if we can maybe get anything on camera, maybe record anything, record any voice recordings that we could use as paranormal evidence. But it's an interesting story. I love it. It's you probably think 2 or 3 scenarios that could possibly explain it. So you could think, well, this picture, for example, is in a glass cabinet. It's got lights on during the daytime. Is that causing blue tack to warm up, and then when the lights go off at night, like what we are now, that blue tack maybe cools down and that causes it to be a bit unsticky? That's one scientific explanation. Obviously it is in a glass cabinet, so you can probably rule out anything knocking it or wind, so we're going to rule that out pretty much straight away. I heard a little noise there, but so that's one explanation. And then obviously you're looking at more of the paranormal explanations, is that it is either the person in the photograph who's coming back to say, look, the information you've put up on there about me is not correct, or somebody who is here, another spirit linked to this site, who is aware of this said individual, trying to say, look, that person, you've got the wrong name for them. Who knows? There's lots of different theories, and we're going to try and see if we can get to the bottom of it in here. Let's have a little look around. I did think I heard a noise, but I was talking at the same exact time, so I'm not sure. So this is the painting. So it's, you come down this little hallway, little walkway here, and it's in this enclosed area. Now there are glass cases on here, so I'm not sure how well you're going to be able to see But this is the painting in question. William Even Taylor. I don't know how well you can see with the night vision, but there is a little information board on there. So, William, I am purely here out of respect for you. I love the story I've been told. I would love it to be more than just a story. I would love it if you were still around, able to look over, whether you're still able to. Okay, that's some kind of system, like a heating system, or it's like it's like a dehumidifier. I'm sure that's what I heard there, that noise. So William, if you are here, and I'd love you to still be around and able to see what people like Ivor are doing right now in keeping your memory going. You've got this incredible picture that's been painted of you. I'm not sure who painted it, but your memory lives on, and I like to think that even after you've gone, you can live on, maybe in a different plane to everybody else. But William, if you are around in this museum, can you make me aware of your presence? Can you make a tap or a bang on something? I'm going to show you how to do it. Watch, I'm going to do a little knock. Can you copy me? Are you happy that your name has been associated with the right picture and that the description matches who you are? If there's another spirit in here that I haven't mentioned, because maybe we don't know who you are, but you are keeping a check on things like whether the right names are being used, could you let me know? Could you tell me who you are? There's other portraits of other soldiers in here. It's one funny thing, I've got to make this joke. Everywhere you go that's a museum about the war, whether it's an aircraft museum, anywhere, the North East Aircraft Museum, Solway Aircraft Museum, the Manx Aircraft Museum, literally anywhere, even if you go to somewhere like Carlisle Castle, which has got a war section, they always have like a bunker set up with a mannequin in. So there we've got a mannequin in a little bunker under a battlefield, I'm assuming. Every museum does it. They create one of these. They'll either have an Anderson shelter somewhere or inside, or they'll create one. They've got all these old planes on the ceiling as well. And of course, we're not just talking about people who are linked to real equipment. Maybe these objects have got actual energy attached to them. People use these. These are trophies of war, so I'm guessing a lot of these will be German things that people have recovered, stolen from as a trophy, and brought back. Again, a German 1916 helmet. This is incredible, isn't it? That all these things end up one day in a museum. If somebody is associated with, there's the Christmas truce. That's incredible. And there's a football, an old leather football with laces in it. Wouldn't want to head that. That'll rip your head. That'll rip your forehead apart, wouldn't it? That was a fight. I am going to focus the majority of the investigation on this spot because this is where the paranormal activity is reported, so I'm keeping it. There are other areas of this museum. I don't want you to think that it's just this one room, but realistically this is where stuff gets happened. This is where stuff gets reported, so is anybody in here at all who would like to just come and let me be aware of your presence, because there's a lot of people going to watch this who maybe worry, maybe think that they don't know what is going to happen in the afterlife, and they want some kind of reassurance that when the day comes that they pass away, that there is something afterlife. And I would love it if you could be that one person that could do something in this video that people are going to watch, where they'll then think there is something. My left hand has gone very cold. Now I'm just looking at this on a small LCD screen as it goes blurry. Why is it gone out of focus? I thought I saw something move at the end. It's got a draft. There is obviously a fire exit. It's like something cold in this area.
At certain points during that section, you might have heard strange interference coming through the audio. Now my phone was on flight mode and I'm using the built-in microphone on the camera, nothing wireless.
So we're going to rule that out pretty much straight away. I heard a little noise there. If there's another spirit in here that I haven't mentioned, because maybe we don't know who you are, but you are keeping a check on things like whether the right names are being used, could you let me know? Could you tell me who you are?
And in case you thought maybe there was something in the room, electronically, that was interfering with the camera, I did several laps of the room, yet it wasn't consistent every time I walked past those areas. What could have been causing this? One explanation is that we are right beside the main airport on the Isle of Man. Could I have been picking up some kind of radio interference from a control tower that was literally a few hundred meters away? Or could there be something paranormal, as the interference seems to be coming on when I'm talking about a spirit?
I'm using this EMF meter to try and see if we can record any paranormal spikes, anything that we could class as being paranormal. Let's go back to the painting.
just in here. If there's any energy in here, could you bring it forward into this device that's in my left hand? You can see I've got recording, I've got different things going on the bottom. I've got a graph, although it's showing us there's not any spike in it at all. I'm not getting anything coming up that's really significant. That must be the aircon thing just cutting off. It must be on a timer. Not getting any significant readings coming through. Is there anybody in here that's associated with the airfield here? Is anybody associated with the land around here? You know, there was a big battle that took place right here, just meters from where we are located, so a lot of people have died on this site, on this spot. Maybe there's people who died fighting that are aware that there's a war museum, although it's a different war. Maybe that's just one theory, that's attracting some energy towards this place. When they were doing work on the runway at the airport in the 1930s, they found a mass burial ground with lots of bodies inside it. Literally nothing coming through. I'm going to leave it running. I'll introduce myself. My name is Rob. I am a paranormal investigator. I am purely just trying to communicate with anybody who is on the other side. You can come through and you can talk into this box in my left hand. It's playing white noise. It's a frequency that you can add your voice onto. Is there anybody here with me? Anybody here who was serving in the First World War or the Second World War? Is William here? William, we've got your picture.
It's been corrected. All the information we believe is right. Are you happy with it? Is there maybe any information you would like to add to it? It seems that you were taken at quite a young age, which is very sad. And your body's never been recovered from the battlefields. Do you know whereabouts you are? Someone's trying to come through. Are you trying? Is there someone there? Look, I know the information's we think is right, but could you validate yourself by knocking the plaque down, as you used to do when it was incorrect? That way, I can see it happen and I will know that it's correct and it is you, because you've done it when I've asked you to confirm. So if the information on that plaque is correct, can you knock it down? You don't have to do it on camera. I'll go into a different area. People like Ivor are doing a lot of hard work to keep people aware of you, your presence, and how that you are still someone who is recognised as being a hero for their country. I'm hearing voices come through. Yeah, I'm not hearing any radio bleed. There's no radio stations coming through. It's just purely white noise with the odd interference sound. Shall we try some EVP recordings? Okay, I'm using the digital voice recorder. In my hand, I've got a little red light. I think you can see it. Can you come and talk into that little red light? I just want to know, is William here? William, the staff here at the museum believe that they are aware of your presence because you've helped correct some misinformation that was on this picture, this painting of you, which was not true, but it has been corrected. Can you confirm whether that is true? Is that you that's corrected that and made them aware that there is somebody here who
has identified that the information was wrong. Can I just confirm that William is here? Okay, I'm going to end recording.
In my hand, I've got a little red light. I think you can see it. Can you talk into that little red light? I just want to know, is William here? William, the staff here at the museum believe that they are aware of your presence because you've helped correct misinformation that was on pictures and painting of you, which was not true, but it has been corrected. Can you confirm whether that is true? Is that you that's corrected that and made them aware that there is somebody here who identified that the information was wrong? Can I just confirm that William is here?
That sounds like it's a yes. Can I just confirm that the person in that picture is William and you are present inside this building right now? I heard a noise to my right. That was inside this room. It wasn't outside the building. William, is that you? Ending recording.
That the person in that picture is William and you are present inside this building right now. I heard a noise to my right inside this room, outside the building. William, is that you?
I'm going to have to listen to that back. It could just be a little bit of interference on the digital recorder. I decided to try moving into another area of the museum, another Nissan hut. Remember, this is a museum with artefacts from wars and even has a giant propeller attached to the building from a fatal plane crash. It's quite possible this place could be littered with ghosts. Is anybody here with me? It's another one of those aircon things. Humidifiers, dehumidifiers, whatever. Here we've got the back doors of this hut. A lot of these huts, by the way, they were very popular at RAF air bases, corrugated roof, during the Second World War. Most of them ended up on farms. They were used for, farmers found a use for them to store things in, machinery. That's a plane. Let's take some photographs in here. Okay. Flash. Flash. If there's any spirits in here that would like to be photographed, you're more than welcome to You are more than welcome to be on the photograph. I'm going to take a picture. Stand directly in front of me. 3, 2, 1. Three, two, one. Can you make me be aware of your presence? That there is somebody in here, whether you are RAF, whether you are on this site before, or whether they are linked to any of these objects. It's a completely interesting theory about haunted objects and whether spirits can be attached to something that's essentially another noise down there. That's essentially an object that has absolutely nothing to do with where they died, but they're here because something belonging to them is here. Keep hearing noises, but I think it's natural. It's this building. We've had a hot day. Well, not a hot day. We're still in the British Isles, but hearing a lot of noises in here. If I don't think it's personally. I don't think it's anything supernatural, nothing paranormal. But I think there's noises in here that are simply caused by the building cooling down. Because it's been an alright day. Sun's been out. Not hot, but not t-shirt weather. But enough to put a bit of temperature into the corrugated roof. These light bulbs have been on in these glass cases, so things are cooling down. Things are cooling down. Got to be scientific when we think about it. And again, that could explain Ivor's story, and I'm not discrediting it at all. I think it's a fantastic story, but things cool down. And blue tack, in particular, it's one of those things you've got to warm it up to stick. So a quick call out. Is there any spirits in here that would like to just speak to me, let me know of their presence? You're more than welcome to. I am not going to run out of here crying or being frightened. I'm going to use a piece of apparatus that will be able to pick you up. So we're getting at 24 degrees in here. Can you make it colder in here? Look at the EMF. It's fluctuating. Went up to 0, but it's not big, but it's... You can see it on the screen. There we go. If I tilt it that way. It fluctuates. It's gone back down to 0. Something was obviously picking it up. Again, noises. Is someone in here with me? Can you make a big noise? A big noise. Temperature's dropped to 23.6. So we've lost half a degree. It's gotten a bit colder, but it is getting later, so theoretically it is getting colder at night, but it's quite quick to go down by half a degree. It's our last chance. The last chance to do something. Is there anybody in here that would like to come and say hello? Speak into the little silver thing in my left hand.
Are you from the war? Did you fight in the Great War, the Second World War?
I received no EVPs. But I just want you to have a listen to this clip and this strange noise that the microphone picked up that I did not hear at the time.
Humidifiers, dehumidifiers, whatever.
Was this some kind of interference? It wasn't the usual electronic interference, but yet there were no insects or bugs flying around. What could this be?
I just want to say, before I go, thank you for every spirit that's in here who has maybe tried their best to come forward and communicate with me. I appreciate everything you've done. You've been a soldier. You've fought for your own country, and I just hope that you can all rest in peace. But thank you so much for being accepting of me, and I love this place. This museum has been so interesting to come to. If you ever come to the Isle of Man, this place is walking distance from the main airport on the Isle of Man, and it's also walking distance from Castletown, the town of Castletown. You can actually walk from the airport to Castletown. It's like 20 minutes. This place is just next to the airport. Even when I came here to start filming before, there was some men who literally just got off a plane from Liverpool, and they were like, yeah, we saw there was an aircraft museum, so we walked around, and yeah, we met, there was 2 guys earlier on. If you're ever in the Isle of Man, you're into planes, come to the Manx Aviation Museum, and like I say, we'll do some proper paranormal investigations if we're back over here in the future. Thank you.
So what do you think of the Manx Aviation Museum? Was there really a spirit who helped correct a mistake on display? Or could more scientific reasons be at play here? If you like this video, please like and subscribe to the Dead Air channel, because next we're staying on the Isle of Man for Halloween, and we're off to Milltown.